Hey, Web3 Curious listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Edge of NFT. Today's episode was shot live at the BGA side event during DevCon in Bangkok. First, we have Intimax, a ZK rollup with stateless architecture. We spoke with Leona, the CEO, who shared insights into how their app empowers users with greater privacy and control over their data, and the potential applications for decentralized exchanges, NFTs, gaming, and IoT. Then we bring you an exclusive panel discussion with industry experts from gaming world who share their strategies for bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 and how to build truly engaging games in a decentralized space. This episode is packed with valuable insights on blockchain privacy and the future of gaming. So get ready for an inspiring conversation and stay tuned for the latest in gaming and beyond. Let's jump in. Cue the intro.
Welcome to the Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Hi everyone, Josh Krieger, co-host of Edge of NFT, live in Bangkok. It's an exciting week full of side events. We're actually at the BGA meetup right now, and I'm having another great conversation. Right now it's with Leona Hioki, the CEO and co-founder of Intimax. It's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So tell us a little bit more about what brought you to Bangkok for this week of development and side events. Like what brings you here?
So, I was staying in Chiang Mai before coming Bangkok. It was for Edge City. It's like a digital style conference, and the people relax to talk with each other without any kind of packed schedule or kind of pressure.
Nice.
It was good.
Yeah,
Only
uncompensated.
yeah, exactly.
But what's the strategic significance of Asia for your company?
So basically we were invited on move. I had a stage. No, I have a stage on the DevCon Bangkok. So I came here. And also our one of the biggest investor. No, they're one of the biggest bank of Bangkok or Thailand. So we are quite close to the Siren ecosystem regarding crypto. So our ecosystem are distributed to many regions, but Southeast Asia is very hot place. No, especially real usage of crypto, no gaming, and maybe there are many gaming people here right now, right?
Yeah. We're at a gaming event, so I'll give it. Makes sense. And rumor has it that Vitalik brought you up quite a lot on stage at DevCon talking about what you guys are doing. Why are you top of mind for Vitalik these days?
1 year ago he understood and knew what exactly we are doing. It's a stateless digital app, and also let's say it's kind of inheritance of Plasma. So basically, it's like a Plasma plus DK. Plasma is quite ambitious project or genre to scale up Ethereum before rollup, and the people abandoned Plasma because it had a lot of problems there. But no, we found that Plasma is kind of possible. On the we can complete the vision of Plasma, which were intended to achieve since 2018. So it was a quite long journey, but Plasma, if Plasma will be real, people should be excited and will be excited.
So, in the simplest language possible, define for me what statelessness means.
So stateless means that everything happens on client side. So basically, in blockchain space, there are a lot of nodes and the block producers, and they have a huge. I don't say it's a huge power, but they can do many things, right? And so in our architectures, in a stateless architecture, validators, block producers, almost few job left for them. And basically, user side, for example, if you're joining this network, you can get your data, you can preserve your data, and you can compute your balance with DKP by yourselves. And while you can inherit the full security from the Ethereum layer 1. So this is a completely new direction and the new challenge to achieve.
And is this, inherently cross-chain by nature, or do you have to sort of create this functionality on each individual chain?
So basically, it's quite cut out for doing the interoperability or cross-chain stuff. And basically, it's should be like L2 interoperability, of course. And stateless architecture is quite cut out for that.
So what are some of the early partnerships and integrations that you're working on?
So integration, we had a example. We had a credit card company, which had implementing our cashback program, and also we have a DX, stateless DX, which has marvelous scalability and privacy at the same time. So I forgot to say that. So in a nutshell, stateless is all about having more extreme scalability and the privacy at the same time. So if you make a deck from that, it should be like near zero gas cost and the private at the same time. So it's a new kind of achievement on the academic level achievement and the production level achievement to provide the features, right? So the kind of application like DX and the real world payments and the also of course NFT and the gaming and IoT, we can do that. So if you wanna extreme scalability for your application, this network is well tuned for that.
Very cool. And you also mentioned plasma. When I think about plasma, I think about Ghostbusters, but we're talking about a different type of plasma. Can you break down what that's all about too?
So the concept of plasma is quite similar to stateless. It's posting the minimum data on chain, everything happens off chain, to inherit the security from instead of layer 1. So layer 2 definition, it's all about inheriting the security from the layer 1 to scale up Ethereum. So in that sense, plasma is one of the big category and genre of layer 2, which is more scalable than anything else. And it's like, so minimum data or constant data on chain, scale up with off-chain computing and the data availability. And it meaning that no matter how many people come into this one network, there's no traffic jam or network jam or kind of fluctuating gas fee or transaction fee, right? So there are many scalability solutions in this world, but basically most of them are having fluctuating gas market or fee market, right? So no matter how they are scalable, they have a limit of their number of users. But stateless architecture or plasma, they don't have this kind of limitation. So it scales without the fluctuating gas fee or volatile gas market.
Wow, thanks for clarifying that and breaking down things so clearly for our audience. So it has a wide range of backgrounds from technical to non-tech cases, so I appreciate that. And then there was one other concept that I wanted to touch on, which is privacy mining, which I guess is something that we've launched and has some other significant implications for the industry. Maybe you can talk to that a little bit.
So right now, privacy on Ethereum is quite devastated. And so account-based model or smart contract type or chain like Ethereum, Solana, they have kind of less privacy than Bitcoin, for example. And also Bitcoin needs to have privacy, of course. But basically, the most important part is their bringing privacy on Ethereum as their whole ecosystem, not just having privacy inside Intimax. No, we need to provide privacy out of Intimax as well. So privacy mining is all about you deposit money into the Intimax contract and you withdraw money from there, copying the link of the deposit address and the withdraw address, right? So you can have full privacy and you can get reward at the same time. So why don't you join that, right? So you have both privacy and reward, and you lose nothing basically. So what you lose is just a tiny fee on layer 2. So it's quite it's like a charity right now. Yeah, you can get everything. We don't take anything, but yeah, no, we can enjoying that freely and punishment him.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think we have to rethink about privacy these days. I use the analogy, you go to a bar and you have to show your ID to get in. There's a lot of information on there that shouldn't be on there, right? That someone else shouldn't get to see. What they really need to know is like, yes, this person's over 21 and not a criminal, let them in.
Yeah.
So it's about, it sounds like this enables more of the right amount of information at the right time. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that on the privacy, there are many types of privacy. So social privacy, like you said, and the financial privacy, which is has been a bit controversial for say, kind of a couple of years, recently. And of course, there are the physical privacy, like you stay at that hotel or you drop the car or something like that. So there are many types of privacy, but we are focusing on financial privacy right now. And the financial privacy, this is the most important part of privacy because the transaction, the paying money is one of the most important activities we can do.
And there's so many breaches of financial privacy happening every day, right? So very cool. Great learning more about you and what you're doing at Intimax. For those that want to maybe follow you on X and follow your company, learn more, where do they go? Do you have an X handle? Are you on Twitter?
So yeah, please search with Intimax.io. This is our X handle. On the other X profile page, you can find the Linktree link on the. You can find everything there. There's a very good kind of explanation video on the blogs are explaining about Intimax mechanism and how it bolts, and also invitation to the privacy mining as well. So yeah, please follow Intimax.io.
All right, great. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, Excellency.
A quick word from our sponsors who's ready to navigate the cutting edge of tomorrow's legal landscape. Because at Zuber Lawler, they're not just attorneys, they're visionaries. With expertise in emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and the metaverse, they're paving the way for you to seize the future. For mergers and acquisitions to IP, their selective team delivers strategic solutions tailored to the ever-changing world of technology. Join us at Zuber Lawler, where the future meets the law at zuberlawler.com. Back to the episode.
Thanks everybody for being here. So we are live here in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm very excited to be part of this first panel. And so I want to first introduce everybody on our panel very briefly, and then we're going to dive into the conversation because we have some really amazing panelists on here. So first we have Michael, who is the strategic advisor at Random Games, where he leverages his extensive knowledge in blockchain technology and gaming to foster innovation within the industry. With a deep-rooted passion for gaming that spans several years, he has cultivated a robust network of over 500 companies in the Web3 space, including GameFly, DeFi, NFT projects. Next, we have Min-Shi Park, who is the head of partnerships and business development at Hyperplay, where she is instrumental in creating strategic collaborations that aim to reshape the gaming landscape through innovative Web3 solutions. And then finally, we have David, who is the chief design at Engines of Fury, where he leads creative direction and design strategy for game development projects. He has a rich background in game design and user experience and contributed to numerous successful titles across various platforms. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for being part of this discussion. So I want to kick this off. We are talking about next-gen player activation, and I don't think of a better way than first talking about our own journeys and how we have the different platforms that you've been able to be a part of and create and get some of those first users and have growth throughout the year. Min-Shi, I had the ability to have a great conversation before we dove out here about some of the growth that you've had so far this year. So I'm gonna kick it off to you first, and then we'll pass it around.
I was actually bragging that our platform, so Hyperplay is actually a Web3 native game store. We're a distribution platform. We are here to more and more games. So if you're a game studio, please comment to me. We're happy to distribute your game. But I was basically bragging that if we met in GDC of this year, early April, we had 64 games in our game store, and we have 150 games now. Very happy that we're able to like carry all the games. We actually have the entire spectrum of all Web3 games. So fully on-chain gaming all the way to Web 2.5 or even Web 2 games that are thinking of doing anything Web3. We support all EVM chains, not in-game chains as well, all the tech stacks, all wallet solutions. So yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you everybody for coming to Bangkok. Happy to see you, and the occasion is great. We have so many bullish news happening, and I think gaming in general would be one of the major trends again. I advise Random Games currently on the strategic aspects like post-launch. They recently launched their token, and they're building a AAA game. It's amazing. Their founders are great. They actually co-created the Transcendate Auto back in the days, so I'm very excited to work with his team. And we also have helped projects with fundraising, and there is huge demand on the high side. It's like now, and I know some people are really bearish, and they say like gaming doesn't stick with Web3. But we are here to basically prove them wrong and say we can combine blockchain technology and gaming. Let's see how it goes and enjoy this cycle.
Yeah, more importantly, it's critical to the future of all digital ownership. So games are digital ownership. So of course, that's where we come in, and that's why it's so important at Diego to have keys and various other things that are just representations of time who speaks to a gamer. So as Chuk just mentions, that's definitely what I'm looking at is how do I get Web 2 players to come to Web 3? How do I convince them that this is the best place to spend their time, and therefore effectively Tidism.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to throw this right back at you because I think it starts the conversation in a place where a lot of people have a lot of emphasis, which is how do you keep bridging that gap between Web 2 to Web 3? How do you keep getting these people that are coming in who could care less about setting up a wallet, who could care less about all these other things on top that make blockchain awesome? They just want a really awesome game. So what has been your focus to help address that challenge?
The main thing is to make a good game. If your game is served, who's going to say right for that? You might get people to play if in exchange for the money, but it'll long, but they won't give up on it and move on to something else that makes more money. And inevitably that burns out most of his years pretty quick. Whereas with Engine Security, we're entirely focused on making a true AAA, if not in cost, a true AAA feeling game that everyone's going to enjoy playing. So the main thing that you have to do is have good game developers and develop a good game. And without that, what are you doing anyways? Why are you making a game in the first place?
Right before coming into this room, I really liked basically the statement that you said that you really want to focus on the players. And in the morning, I was in another side event, and we were all talking how it's funny how most of the time we're too focused building on the tech stack or which tech stack to use, which chain to build on, like how am I gonna make it composable, all of that stuff, like the token engineering part. And then you have something to go out there and actually meet the players, and it's too late, and everything has to be focused on the players. And I really like that statement, and I think going back to your question of how to bridge Web 2 and Web 3, it's really going back to, the genesis, like why we're doing this. It's actually to make fun games. And if we really don't focus on what the players want, why are you doing this, right?
Yeah, and what they want is a good play experience. And all of the Web3 stuff can be an addendum to that. Like, I don't necessarily want people who come into our game initially, which will be a free-to-play game. So, throw bearer, that's very cool. I want them to be this surprised they're on, then they're like, what is this Web3 stuff? And they click on the button and are like, oh my god, I faked Bob's appeared, this is amazing. I want that to be a pleasant surprise rather than doing so the frequent. That's the reason they come to us is money, not because we're a big game.
Yeah, I also agree that building a high-quality project is essential, but also I would like to cover the myth that most people think, some founders think that building a Web3 game is easier, especially because of the last bull run. They think it's easier than building a traditional game. Well, it's not. it's actually way harder because you have to spend like 2 to 4 years to build a really good traditional game. Of course, you can go for an indie game, a mini game, something like that. But even so, you have to get the whole blockchain layer because it's the token economy, and plus you are fundraising, you're building a go-to-market service. So the idea of blockchain, like adding it into the game, originated from, it's like a marketing. So your token helps you with marketing. It brings you awareness. Well, probably it works for DeFi, AI, infrastructure, but for gaming it doesn't, because it will bring you only money-hungry people that will drain your liquidity, drain your treasury, and that's it. So when you're focusing on reading game, like a gamers, and at the same time you have this blockchain underneath, you would just double on your tech stack, because traditional games, they are not talking to blockchain, right? So it's relatively easier on that side. No smart contract, no hacking, no financial security risks. So it's not simple to build a traditional game, of course, but just for you founders to clarify, it's actually way harder to build it. That's why I think a lot of VCs are looking for Web2 experienced founders who either ran gaming studios before or had been a part of the gaming project in a traditional space. So I think that's essential also from like our VC perspective, from our VC network. And that's what Random Games was originally about. Like our CTO ran his development company for 10 years before joining Random Games. So probably that was the main thing that sold it to VCs in the first place. Especially it was an equity round originally. And then it was token warrant, and at the end there was like a pure trophy round right before TG, like a couple lives before. So yeah, it's harder to build a good game. It's way harder to build a good game on blockchain. So I think in this cycle it's more mature already. The technology is more mature. We have good and bad cases we can relate to, and in general, people are not that delusional about that you can create something stupid and raise 10 million for that. So the quality will definitely go up this cycle. And the VCs are also more experienced, which is good. So they'll divert capital not into scammy projects to make 10x FTG, and then project dies. They will actually look for quality to stay longer. Probably this cycle will be longer, probably will be more sustainable. So you want proper vesting when your token economy doesn't influence the gaming side, ideally at all, or at least not so much. So that's probably what...
Yeah, I can save VCs a lot of money right now. Look for the game studios that were building through the bear market. If they were building through the bear market, they are absolutely devoted to making a good game. And if they weren't, then they're waiting, and now here comes another big boom market. Be careful. That's all I'm saying.
No, definitely appreciate that. And just as a quick poll for the room, how many of y'all are building in the space right now? Building a game in the space. Okay. And how many of you are raising right now to try to build that game? Okay. So you have this delicate balance of dealing with VCs as far as making sure you have some sort of tokenomics in place, but then also building a superior game. So you have this interesting, I won't say conflict, but this synergy of making sure you have this really good core product, but also working on the tokenomics side of things. A lot of people, as they think about growth going into 2025, you have this new wave of degens that are coming in, but then you also have, of course, your traditional Web2 people that you're trying to get to convert over. There's a lot of paths that you can go to have success. Some people are deciding to build like on ton and grab some of those people. Some are deciding to just, build a game from scratch. What are some of the strategies that y'all see that you're either implementing right now, or that you think people should consider as they go into 2025 to build out what they have? And we'll start with you, Michael.
Okay, so growth for a game is also a very sophisticated topic, but I think what works for Random Games right now, basically we have tournaments. We do a lot of tournaments where there are more or less Web3 prizes. There are NFTs, there are tokens, and of course USDT as well. There are partnerships like collaborations with bigger projects or with relevant projects that work Also, in future, there will be strategies to cap the KOLs from Web 2. I think that's very important for mass adoption. Actually, Red Games, the project is called Universe. So Universe is about region in between Web 2 and Web 3. So it's a traditional Web 2 game, and what is cool about it that you don't even know that you had a wallet unless you really need to. You can buy NFTs, but you buy them as characters. You don't really know they are NFTs, but then you can, by accident or intentionally, discover that there is a marketplace on OpenSea. You can actually sell your NFT, and that revelation for the person who played like for half a year and developed his character and then he sells, he realized he can sell it at $800 on OpenSea, which because it's super rare. It was amazing, and we are talking bear market right now. So he sold it at some kind of floor price. He didn't really know, like for $400, it got bought instantly. And next day, that guy oversold it again and again. People started flipping it, and the price was really high for the NFT. So these models are really working, but still, getting back to user adoption, I think Web2 influencers and we want to look into marketing that traditional games are doing. We can work with Steam, right? With Epic, we can publish the games wherever it's not Web3. And just build in mind that who's gonna play it, right? So Web3 space on its own, it's very small space, but those people who are ready to play games, guilds are not that effective right now. The model doesn't really work because you have to pay them to play, which is like a dead cycle. So yeah, talking about sustainability, I think have to work on the adoption and engaging people. You can tournaments and with prize quiz, which can probably go from the KOL side as well. You can incentivize people in a more traditional way, but still it can be financial prizes involved or NFTs, which are financial prizes. I think streamers and anything that can bring you online, bring you high virality, and to get attention towards your game that worked in Web 2. It will actually, it's already working in Web 3, right? Also, your players, this in the beginning, you have to build like a core base of evangelists players, right? That will go out there, they will share your content, they will promote your NFTs, they will show the spots on Twitter how they play your game, they will do some Twitch streaming in their close communities. So they will be there for you, like maybe even 200 people originally who just do something for the game, like core fan base. Same people are doing like on Steam, all the indie projects, they are trying to get people who will be posting on Reddit and X and everywhere about their game, and it works. So why don't do that? So just produce a limited amount of people who will be promoting your content for free, and you can always reward them with some in-game items. Even just consumables or cosmetics. It doesn't have to be... This is the beauty of having Web2 people. You don't have to pay them at every step. You can just provide good new content, and so we see the project is being developed. That could already be very tough.
There's so many things to say about growth. But I think one of the things that I really want to emphasize to all game studios is that let's not reinvent the playbook. Like, please focus on the game itself rather than going out. Like, use the tools that we already have up there. If you built 2 cycles ago, unfortunately, you had to make everything from scratch, right? There was not a good wallet solution, so you had to actually make the wallet solution first off. There was not like a good NFT marketplace that could plug into your gig, so you had to make the marketplace for yourself. But there are so many tools out there in the periphery of building in the gaming space that are here to support you. So please don't build everything from scratch. That will be like, yeah, or you're just nodding your head. And I think the second part is we need a good balance between what is the narrative of the game and the incentives. In the previous cycle, we focused too much on the incentive side. So how can we actually incentivize KOLs so that they can create content? How do we incentivize players so that they can just common play. And going back to the player topic that we were saying, it's not sustainable because if you're too focused on incentives, they're coming because of the incentives, not because of the game. Then how do we come to that middle point where, yes, we need to be realistic, they are coming for the incentives, but then also make them state for the merit, right? And that blend, it's the hardest part, but it is possible because now you can use all these tool sites, all these tech stacks, and you don't have to be spending time doing stuff from zero and focus on how you're going to be doing that balance between narrative and incentive. An example is, so Hyperplay, our the game distribution, we actually created our in-app questing platform so that we support off-chain assets. So game studios can actually give out off-chain assets because we've realized, and a lot of our game studios were saying, we don't want to give out NFTs. We don't want to give out ERC20s, 721s, like DeFi's. Like players don't want that anymore. They actually want points to come back and use those points to get potentially the NFTs in the future. And a lot of the questing platforms out there were too focused on the on-chain elements that you're basically just putting more gasoline on the fire and just making the entire game economics more unsustainable. So yeah, that's like some of the tips and tricks I want to give to game studios, but I have like a long list.
So I come at it from the game design perspective. So when I designed tokenomics for Engines of Fury, there were several things that I wanted to be absolutely certain of, which is that players who invest early are rewarded later, or at least evil. So we have a deflationary currency in that everything that gets spent into our game, some percentage of that gets burned. Some percentage of that goes into our pools to fuel the tournaments. So our tournaments could go crazy if our game's super popular. And in the meantime, it's low-key, that's fine. They're still going to play because those wolves are there. So you keep these cycles of incentivizing players to keep playing your game with the tokenomics. But more importantly, the narrative context all has to matter as well. What does the token do in the world? I know it seems like a strange question. In our case, the token being burned is part of the storyline I called about engines themselves, which I won't go into because it's taking 2 hours. But I would encourage you guys to read our white paper where there's a lot of story elements about the game in there. But the big thing is simply to preserve as much value as you can for the players who come into your game early and make sure that in the long run, that market is player sustained. So in our season 2, that's the deals can end players talk and the cheese. And the NFTs themselves are things the players decided to turn into NFTs and spend Fury on. Therefore, that bull market is not something that we have to worry about. We're not selling NFTs into that market. The players are, and they're deciding let's support it. And because of that, have to avoid the Diablo 3 auction house problem, which is that if you have a game that's well boot this, what happens is they could get infinite amounts, not everything. The market drops out because now it's easier to go buy it on the marketplace for a few dollars. And now we got everyone who doesn't care about playing the area. So what do? You have to have those things be seasonal. Those items come off for market. They don't drop anymore. So now they go up and down all the time. So these are all things that we've got Roaches of Fury and we're planning to do because of the on-chain elements. And I encourage everyone to steal all that. Deflationary currency supports your player base. They want to buy your token because they know it's a good form of economic value.
I think all of these are really awesome examples, and I know that they can fairly keep talking about all of these, so I encourage you, if you have additional questions on the growth piece, to strike a conversation. But I think another part of the conversation I want to lean this is there's this concept of if you build it, they will come. And in the bear market, a lot of people discover that's just not the case, right? So you have this option of being able to build all these really cool product features for your game, but it doesn't mean that people are going to come in and actually use them. So as how have you, in your own companies, decided where do you lean into on what to build next? And Min-Shi, I'll pass it to you first.
So when I'm talking to game studios and I'm onboarding game studios, we always say we are a developer-first game distribution in Web3 natives. And when I say that, a lot of our A studios are like any other platform can say that, right? But And I can give it examples like what do we mean by developer first. I was telling right before coming to this room that we have 10 features in our roadmap right now, and we're all building them. And we had, let's say, 4 to 5 that we were gonna launch in the Q4. We go and I interact with our game studios. So we have 150 game studios. I always interact with them, like if they have the tournament coming up, like a playtest coming up. And the more I interact with game studios, if I realized that a certain feature that was pushed back on like P2, like lower priority, and it was pushed back to Q1 of next year or Q2 next year, and this is heavily demanded, and we will push it back up to Q4. And this is our way of showing to all our game studios that we will develop whichever feature is right for games rather than us dictating what is right for the game studios, right? And we always try to emphasize this because we want our game studios to also do that. I had a coffee chat in the morning, and he was saying, I wish to tell all game studios building a Web3, because he also calls for like traditional with 2 backgrounds, like we need to be more, we need faster iterations. And not sure why we don't have this playbook, but we want to see more game studios giving out more updates on just the with 2 saying of see what sticks in the wall, but I don't feel like a lot of game studios are like throwing it as often. And I can see it because I can see 115 games, like how many times they're updating their build. But what I'm excited for 2005 is that we have this faster iteration. And I do believe that bull market just makes everyone more excited. So we will have faster iterations, more builds, more so yeah, like that. I'm excited because game studios will just have more fuel to keep it going. So that's my last take. Because
if I may interject, the reason why is because they're afraid. They're afraid of criticism. And that's largely comes because they are not experienced hands like you us. You have to get over the fear of negative feedback and just embrace it. You'll get a bunch of negative feedback. It's okay. You can improve. If you don't put that game out there and get that feedback, you can't do anything. They're frozen. So don't be afraid of feedback.
And I think another reason why, going back to your point of, it's so much harder to build a Web3 game, it's also because, to be realistic, a lot of our players out there are kind of betting for us to fail. Because a lot of them are just like anti-Web3, right? But we know that fact, just embrace that fact and prove them wrong, as we said. Like, if you're not launching something out there, you're delaying your pay test or you're delaying your games to go live, you will never know what your players want, right? So just don't hesitate, throw things to the wall and see what sticks.
So the Universe is a bit different kind of game. It's actually, Universe itself is not a game. It's kind of like Roblox, where people can also build and develop their own levels, their own puzzles, stuff like this. So when the team was approaching like what should be released first, is it like this editor where you can create your levels, or is it some kind of a game that will actually showcase how all that works? They started by creating a very good high quality level, just showing developers what they can build inside of the universe. And that was like a speed run. Basically, like you're playing it against the timer, because it's a AAA shooting game. Here, first-person shooter game. You have those NFTs, like super high quality, super detailed characters, running on Unreal Engine 5, and they build this. Like you compete against each other. Basically, all the players compete against the clock, and there's a leaderboard. So every week, just on this one level, if you're doing it first time, you'll probably be like half an hour to pass it if you are an average gamer. But if you play like 10 times, 100 times, you can actually beat the clock much faster. So every week, plus 10 players on the leaderboard were rewarded protons, which is our internal currency, basically in-game funds, not on. So, and those protons you can use to upgrade your character, and back then also to virtuous NFTs. They built this level, and this was like a proof of concept, both for the game and also for the editor, that developers could use to build. So the second lead was the editor that was released, but it was a simple version basically for players. So players can also use rebuild any assets to build their own levels with these competitive mechanics involved. Cool part is that when you use your NFTs, like your characters inside the game, in every level that is created by the player, you can assign certain traits to NFTs. And those traits are unique for each level. So your NFT will have very unique characteristics if he or she obtains these traits. So this were the cool mechanics that got people involved in playing even like one level for half a year to beat against the clock to get new achievements and new traits for the NFT. And then we introduced the hover game. Now our NFTs are also hoverbytes. And this was like a racing challenge and also those hoverbytes shoot. And that's where first tournaments, like PDK tournaments, started. And this was a new hashtag that influenced the editor, because now players can create tournament type of arenas using which will use hoverbikes. So it's you already NFT character plus the hoverbike character. So it's like a matrix, and you're filling out both linear and the abstract vertical part of development. So that was a strategy that Random Games used, but as I mentioned, it's not really like a game. It's also like a gaming environment where you can create stuff built for players and developers to be creative. So kind of similar to Roblox, maybe Sandbox, but in a different way. So yeah, that was like the strategy for us.
Awesome. Well, we've got to the end of our discussion. This will be the final question, and we have about 4 minutes left. So about 1 minute for each of you. And what I want to pose is, as we go into 2025, what is the number one focus you have for not just yourself, but others should consider to continue to have growth and continue the gamification of getting people on board onto their platform? And then close with how people can connect with you and learn more about what you have going on.
So on Random Games, we launched an experiment. We launched a Telegram mini app that is basically a streaming platform. So you can watch live streams of tournaments and stuff that is happening inside the game on a website, but you can also do it from the Telegram media. And you also get points, so you're rewarded for that. It was an interesting experience that yielded some good traffic. In general, I think that Tone ecosystem and Telegram mini apps is a good channel of getting new, I would say, community members, I can say players, because it can be, you can build the funnel. Like if you have an opportunity to get like 1 million to 10 million people to your sales funnel relatively cheap. Of course, they are not all of them on large PC gamers, right? If it's a PC game, all of them prefer mobile games. It's mobile there. So of course the funnel will probably keep 10%, right? 5% of that. But still it's quite cheap traffic, and it's a Web3 native. The thing that I like about Telegram is that now it's Web3 native because it's 1 billion people in Telegram, and it was like 500 million in Notch Grab. So if this 500 million people know what a wallet is, because they all received airdrop, they wanted to sell their tokens, so they probably buy an exchange. They're probably using Con Wallet, which is built in Telegram. So there's certain opportunities, and the first we come into quests. Know the quest platforms that people, gaming that people were using, probably not only in gaming, but an NCP thing for gaming where you have to, subscribe to all the socials, buy NFTs or do some transactions on chain, which is very cool, but now it's in Telegram as well. So those mini apps can be like the cut of your funnel, and then you can try and build strategy how actually you can convert that flow of millions and millions of users from Telegram to actually make them play your game. Is it just a great system that they found coins or tokens, and then they can go and maybe connect with the Telegram account. How often do you see that you can register an account in a game with Telegram, right? So why not? So you can leverage Telegram mini apps in multiple ways to build that funnel. You can also use a lot of URLs and other traffic for it. So yeah, just about experimenting. I think this could be a new channel of the future.
I feel like Michael set up the stage for us because Hyperplay is actually launching a Telegram gig story. So, and the reason why we're launching this is because our View Studios is looking to launch a Telegram mini app, a mini app using the main IP. And as you said, like, I think a lot of our game studios don't want to create a chapter again. They are more concerned of their fee. They are going to focus on their desktop and browser game, but they do want to use Telegram as a acquisition channel, as you said, on the top of funnel. But what we could provide in Hyperplay is that bridge between the Telegram game store and the desktop app. So, and because it's the number one question of how gigs are going to do that. So in a traditional sense, even if you had a successful desktop game, it doesn't mean that your mobile game side of the successful as well, and it's not going to beat the same players. What we can do with the Telegram environment and the mobile environment is, with the off system that crypto has, or any off system, to be honest, or the pesty platforms that you said, how can we be that bridge? And because we are a distribution platform, we are trying to be that bridge to all our game studios trying to launch something on Telegram. And our thesis is actually not 10%. We're like, even if we can help our game studios bring 1% of 1 million, I think we'll be happy. And that'll be top of funnel. But the important thing is not only top of funnel, it's actually helping our B studios do top of funnel and help them retain them back. Because if you just focus on top of funnel, it's going to be the same playbook that we had at last cycle where we just bring, I don't know what's the word, but like tons of players in top of funnel, and we just, and they leave once they got the census, right? They leave after they exchange their lab coin or the this coin, etc. So that's what I'm super excited about with Chaos 25. We're also launching our outdoor version of our Gangster. A lot of stuff to build, but I'm just generally excited because the bull has the bear has finally died, and I think the narrative has always been gaming, consumer vertical has always been gaming, and I'm excited to work with everyone.
Yeah. So, coming at it from a little bit of a different direction, the main thing that I can advise everyone is to build something you love, build something you care about, build something that means something to you. If you're not building a game that you love, how can anyone else love it? So all of the stuff that you might do with Web3 and stuff is tangential to the most important event. You have to build the game that you want to build, that you personally below, and that everyone else here love it. That's awesome. Same for cooking, it's the same for everything else. We build something with love, cook something with love, people can feel it. And the engines are it's a team in Lithuania, and they're at the talk of the town over there. And they really love what they're doing. And I love working with them, and I love the narrative that I've got for this game. I'm so excited to know the story that Aris's kind of a little more story of this that I can talk about, but that's all right. So for this coming year, whatever you do in terms of like bringing users in, make sure that the game you have ready for them is something that you're going to be proud of and that they're going to enjoy playing. Because that's the only way to say.
And you can reach us by going to Hyperplay XYZ by going
eof.gg.
And just so furry is in Hyperplay.
Yes.
It's universe their conference.
All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. You can follow us at edgeofnft.com. You can follow us on YouTube as well. We put a lot of content out there, so thank you, everyone here. Thank you, BTA, and hope you enjoy your day.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.